Hello and welcome to the AmpChance video demonstration. The first thing I want to show you is how to log in. First thing you log in, these users are being created by the administrator account. Each user has the ability to be either set for read or write access points of the different modules in the MedTrans software, and MedTrans software records the actions of each user, whether it was creating the client or creating a trip. So I'm logging in. And as you can see, my name appears here. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is client. This is where the list of all your clients that you're going to be transporting appears. And this list, you can add, remove clients. You can change the default insurance, meaning what you want the default insurance to be for this specific client, even though this insurance can be changed when entering a trip for this client, but this is just the default. As far as the locations, you can either choose a location from a list, which you're going to be setting up in the setup module under setup, or you can type in a location if it's a one-time location. Now this list on the bottom, you can view it, you can sort it any way you'd like, you can filter it, you can sort by first name, by last name, by any of the columns. Let's say you want to filter, let's say you only want to see the clients that have preferred care as their insurance. In that case, you choose this. Click on this box, you choose preferred care, and now the list is filtered. To remove the filter, you simply click on the X button. Let's say you don't like the way these columns are arranged. You want, let's say, created by, meaning the user who created this client, to be ahead of the insurance name. In this case, you just move this column and it appears in front of this. Let's say you want to just see the last names, and then you want to just be able to expand each last name and see other details. So in this case, you drag the last name button or the last name column header, and now you see just the last names. You click on the plus sign and you see other details. And there's a lot of things you can do. Let's say you want to filter this even more, modify it, or you want to export it and use Excel to create mail merges. No problem. You can click File, Print and Export. Now you see a print preview screen, which you can now either export it to pretty much any format you'd like, PDF, Excel, CSV, or you can print the list. Now I'm going to talk about trip. You click on the trip module, and here you see each of the client and the trips that are associated with this client. You can either create a new trip, you can delete a trip. When creating a trip, you can choose to leave the insurance, the default insurance that we've set up in the client module, or you can choose a different insurance. Let's say that this client for this specific trip is going to be using another insurance. Same thing with locations. You can either choose a location or you can type in a location. Let's say this client is, or if it's the client is coming from home, you can click on home and it's going to bring up the home location. Let's say you're not sure where the client, let's say you're not sure the directions from one place to another one, and you want to enter mileage, which you do here. You enter the number of miles, but let's say you don't know exactly how many miles there are. So in that case, this problem is solved by clicking on the Google button. Let me just find an address. So for example, you click Google and it brings up Google Maps there with directions and mileage, as you can see over here. And you can use satellite. That's already Google's features. And again, this list on the bottom the columns can be moved around, it can be filtered, sorted, pretty much any way you like, just like I showed in the client screen. Same thing, you can export the list, print and export, and you can, same formats, PDF, Excel, CSV, and you can keep on working on that list in Excel and do mail merges and whatnot. Now, as you can see, as the trips are set up or updated, the username appears over here and the time and date the trip was created. Same thing in the client modules. In the client module, the user that created or updated the trip, date and timestamp appear here. Now as far as the dispatching, you click on the dispatch module and you see all the trips where you can change a date to a different date. I have nothing on the 14th. Here are my trips on the 15th, and you can sort these columns again any way you like. You can click on the pickup time. You see pickup. The red means that the trip is coming up within 15 minutes from now, so that this alerts the dispatcher that he has to get ready to send the car. Now pink, you would see sometimes pink trips here. That means that the trip is going to be ready for pickup between 15 and 30 minutes. And that would appear in pink. The yellow here means that this is a very important client or a very important trip, so that the dispatcher has to make sure to send the car on time or send a specific driver. And to mark a trip very important, you do it in the trip module over here under this checkbox. Or you can set up a client as a very important client, and then all his trips would appear as very important VIP. Now when you actually dispatch, you choose a vehicle, you change the status to send, and as you can see on top over here, this vehicle changed colors. Now this vehicle list comes from the setup module, where you actually set up the vehicles and you name them, and you set up paging numbers for each of the vehicle. Let's say each of the vehicle has its own cell phone or a pager, where you're going to be able to actually send pages. And actually I'm going to talk about this right now. So let's say this trip over here, I've sent car 1 on this trip, and let's say the driver doesn't have this list, even though we could print it out and hand it to the drivers in the mornings. But let's say he doesn't have this specific trip. Then in that case, I want to send him this information, and I really don't want to specify the information over the radio for HIPAA reasons or for just ease of communication. So in that case, what I do is I right click, I click page, and this brings Microsoft Outlook or whatever your default email software is, with all the information filled out and with a pager email address. And then you just click on send, and you would send that email to that pager. Okay, now same thing here. You can let's say you want to get directions. You can right click directions, and it brings up Google Maps with the directions for that trip, with mileage and everything you need. Okay, now same thing here. You can pretty much, if you don't like the way these columns are set up, the order, you can change that. You can, let's say you want to see the appointments ahead of the pickup, you do that, and there's switch. You can filter this column, this list, any way you'd like. So for example, let's say I want to only see the taxi, the trips that have taxi as a category. So I click taxi, and now I see these trips. To remove the filter, I click on the X button. And let's say after the trip is done, several trips are done, and I do not want to see them in my list anymore. Dispatcher doesn't need them. They're behind. They're in the past. So in that, you click on the to do button, and it just shows you the trips that you still have to do. And same thing with this list as in the trips module and clients module. You can export and print. And here's this list. You can either export it to, again, CSV, Excel, PDF, or all these other nice formats, or you can print this list to hand it out to your drivers. When you hand this list out to your drivers, you would probably want to number each job, so that when talking to the driver, you wouldn't have to specify the name of the client. You could just refer it by job number. So to do that, you click on assign job numbers, click OK to this little warning message, And now, as you can see, each job has a number. And now you can print the list, hand it out to the drivers, and then refer to the trips by number. Trip number, for example, pick up trip number 6 or pick up trip number 7. Now, again, this is usually done in the morning before the drivers are out there doing their jobs. Now, going to accounting. Here's accounting, where you can keep track of all your trips, who paid, who didn't pay for the trip, which trips are outstanding, which trips need to be sent to collections. So here you can specify the date span when the trip took place. And here's the easy calendars that pop up. You can search for the trip either by invoice number or by client's last name. And if you scroll to the right, as you can see, some of the trips are marked as red. That means that the trip still has outstanding balance. It's not been paid for. Let's say you want to post the payment. So this trip, for example, has $10 outstanding. So we double click, type in 10, click enter, click save, and now, as we can see, this particular trip is not in red anymore. And again, this list can be sorted, filtered pretty much any way you'd like. You can move the columns around. So for example, you can move this column here, this column here. You can do pretty much anything. You can export this list. Click on File, Print and Export, and here the trip is going to be either exported to any of these beautiful formats, or you can print this list. You can, after exporting this list to Excel, you can create your own bill as far as what you want the bill to say, and you can mail merge the exported trips to that letter. And that's pretty much it for the MetTrans demonstration. Thank you for watching, and I hope you like the software. For more videos, please visit us at www.basadsoftware.com. Thanks.